Welcome to the LukeBelmar Vault. Lately there's been a lot of data sets released. I do my best to make sure that I upload. So, from me to you, enjoy this profound gem. And from you to me, a view equals a like. This helps the video rank, so that many other glitches can find the data set. Also do subscribe. Thank you.
7:18 a.m., beautiful Friday. As people gear up and they get excited to enter their last work day of the week because they want to go drown their sorrows in the weekend, designed for weak people, designed for weak ambitions, designed for weak goals, designed for weak societies. We understand that there is no such thing as a 9-to-5 and there is no such thing as a 5-day work week. When you're an entrepreneur, you're on the motherfucking clock 24/7, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, 365 motherfucking days. Because you understand that the moment you take off, the moment you decide to go to the club, to party, to fuck around for 3 weeks, your business goes south, your employees resent, sales start slowing down, fires start building up. Why? Because you want the wrong thing. You want the wrong thing. You started entrepreneurship off for the wrong thing. You didn't start off entrepreneurship to serve people, to grind, to build something that you truly enjoy. You started off simply under the premise of wanting to make money. So at the point where you make some money, where you're comfortable, you become a lazy piece of shit. I know this because I've done it. I remember when I made my first $1 million, guys, like my first $1 million month. What year was this? Like 2020, my first $1 million month, or like 2019. And I remember I got so lazy for a month. And then I look back and I'm like, dude, why the fuck are you lazy? You haven't generated that much money anyway. It's like $1 million in revenue. Let's say you take 25% profit margins, 30%. After you play everybody out, you're left with like $250,000. You're not that hot. Like, you're not that poppin'. You're not that good. You're not that great. You're just getting started. You're still poor. And under that same premise is what I've been operating under. That's why every time I have a win, I don't slow down. It's a momentum to continue winning and propelling forward. So as the weekend approaches, guys, continue grinding. Don't slow down. Momentum is your friend. Momentum is powerful. Momentum allows you to take advantage of opportunities and seize opportunities effectively, efficiently, quickly. And unless you position yourself properly with this mental framework that there is no such thing as days off, there is no such thing as retirement, there is no such thing as being in a situation whereby like you stop working. As a man, you're always on to something. As a woman, you're always on to something. Even if that endeavor is just personal development, that's a lot of fucking work. Developing your health, developing your mind, developing your network, developing your relationships, developing your character. That's a full-time job. Now, if you're on the clock 24/7 and people that are your competitors are on the clock 4 days out of the week, you're literally so ahead of them if you capitalize on the opportunity. If you want to be successful in life, it's going to require a massive amount of energy input. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. It's going to require the expenditure of a lot of energy, the acquisition of some white hair, the acquisition of some, wrinkles and some battle scars. But that is the price of freedom, because every person has to pay for their freedom. And this concept that freedom has just been given to you, unless you live in the United States and maybe some other jurisdiction, you don't have freedom. You don't have freedom of speech. You don't really have constitutional rights that give you the ability to really go out here and defend yourself. So if freedom doesn't exist and you have to buy your freedom, then you better start motherfucking working, because nobody's gonna buy it for you. Does that make sense? And if somebody buys it for you or buys you off from somebody else, another slave master, well, now you have another slave master. So you're just hopping around from 9 to 5, making another man's dream come true. Now, build long-term with long-term people. Focus on working every single day. Not working in the sense of you have to be out here grinding, hustling 24/7. No, sometimes you should position yourself. Instead of scrolling on social media, instead of watching Netflix, open up a book. Go watch a podcast on cash flow management and budgeting. Go talk to a CPA. Go have dinner with an entrepreneur and network. Go to an event, right? Optimize the fruit that you receive from your labor, right? Because most people are okay with crumbs. I'm not. My time is worth a lot. And if I'm expending my life force energy to accomplish something, I want the best of the best, because that's what I value my time at. So as you focus on this weekend, you will either be weak and kill your momentum, or you will take the weekend to get ahead from your competition, to win, and to set yourself apart. Choice is yours. I know what I'm doing.
The following is a data set that is similar to today's. If you were only here for the one released today, that was the end of it. Good luck.
Can actually set a plan towards winning and actually win. I can't guarantee that you'll become the best, but I can guarantee that you'll be better than where you currently are in any realm of your life, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, and it all boils down to two ingredients. And these two ingredients, I think when I was sitting down, I was like, wow, if people actually implemented these three ingredients on a day-to-day basis, they would end up being in a situation where they can actually craft a plan of success. The first ingredient, that I think if people apply these two ingredients in a rigorous fashion as a stepping stool to their success, and they incorporate it as a habit in their life, they can actually win. I genuinely, guys, and I'm sympathetic to the fact that there's a lot of people that started their journey with nothing, right? With no connections, no relationships, no handouts. But the truth is, as long as you have access to the internet and you can afford a $20 a month ChatGPT subscription, then do you truly have an excuse? It's really hard for me to justify not winning. And there's spectrums to this, right? On the top echelon, you have people that will never have to work from the day that they're born, and then on the bottom side of the echelon, you have people that literally have to walk 10 miles in order for them to get drinking water. Right, so on the lower side of the spectrum, I don't speak to these individuals that, they don't have access to the internet, they don't have cell phones, they are in war-torn countries. The mindset is different, right? The mindset is survive, it's not thrive. But once you can get out of surviving and you have the luxury and the commodity of thriving, then that's something that you need to activate. And the first way that you really activate it is with intentionality. I said two ingredients, but in fact it's three. The first one is intentionality. Like, if you actually sat down there and set a goal up for yourself, like actually went out there and said, you know what, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and I'm gonna create 100 pieces of content, but for what reason? A lot of these people on the internet that talk, that give advice, they tell you what to do, but there's no train of thought, and there's no process as to why you should do it. And that's a self-realization that you have to obtain, because maybe you're doing it because you want to become somebody else. And that's where the fallacy lies, is in the inability that people have to be intentional towards what they want in life. So, I'll be frank with you guys. When I used to not have a lot of money, I was in a situation whereby my first objective was to become a millionaire, right? Like, that was the objective. That's a good objective. Like, it's a number that you can hit. It's a specific metric that is attainable. And then once I hit the $1 million liquid net profit in my bank, I was like, oh shit, like I didn't really have a goal. Like, that was just a marker, an objective, but the goal should be much bigger, right? The goal should be that this idea of becoming a millionaire is just is part of the equation. This keeps you on your toes, sharp, and intentional long term, right? Because what happened to me is I made my first $1 million and I didn't do anything for like 3 months. I just kind of just sat around. Why? Because I hit my goal. So I hit my goal because I was intentional about having one. But when I literally sit down with most people, they talk to me and fuck, bro. Like, I ask them about their goals, guys, and I'll be frank with you. I even sit down and talk with guys that are doing multiple 8 figures, even 9 figures, and I ask them, like, okay, what's the game plan? And they don't really have a game plan, you know? Like, it's important to establish intentionality. Intentionality leads to a game plan. A game plan leads to a set of procedures that allow you to vet or foresee potential potholes or fuck ups or opportunities so that you can reroute. And then through this intentionality and this planning, you can establish your strategy. I was talking with Gary Brecka. If you guys aren't familiar with Gary Brecka, he's a leading biohacker that works with Grant Cardone. And he was telling me, you know, how he trains UFC athletes. And at this point, the UFC athletes, they're not what they used to be, you know, 10, 12, 15 years ago, which is random people from random sports coming together to see who's going to be the ultimate fighting champion in different styles. No, nowadays these athletes, they're getting curated and trained and basically bred to be gladiators. Now, why do I make this point? The reason I make this point is because when he was describing what the fighters kind of really look like nowadays, he talks about this idea of chess, right? Like, they look like chess players. They know how they're going to move. They know what they want to do ahead of time, and they really plan for it. So if people plan for a fight, and even this concept of fighting becomes optimized through strategy and through planning, I would argue that it's the same in your life, right? You need to establish a strategy and a plan of action so that you are in charge. Once you establish intentionality and you have a direction, then you have to move towards consistency, right? The consistency of what? The execution of the plan. And in the consistency is where you actually win the game. And the consistency is where the marathon really displays who did their work and who was just lucky. Anybody can go out there and do $1 million in a month on a Shopify store. It doesn't mean that they can repeat it in perpetuity for their entire life. And that's the difference between somebody that's hustling and somebody that understands the skill set of making money. And one of the ingredients to making money, ladies and gentlemen, is consistency. You know, I see so many people spend their first money, flex their first money, become outrageously arrogant after they achieve their first money, and they don't really realize that the money is just the byproduct of consistently doing a repeated set of actions over an extended period of time that will allow you to achieve a certain objective or output. So on your first sector, you have this idea of intentionality, really planning out your goals. So the reason I tell you this is because if I ask most of you guys, what are your goals financially, physically, relationally, and to really write them out detailed for me, most of you guys would not be able to do that. But if you want to achieve a certain life, you have to know what you want. You have to know what you want. So once you've achieved a state of intentionality, you have committed to a format of consistency that allows you to span an expended period of time, an extensive period of time, excuse me, as opposed to burning out quickly because you're a one-hit wonder, the final ingredient should I reveal it? I want a little alien emoji, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a little alien emoji. By the way, we're going to do 3 Q&As after this before we wrap up. 3 Q&As. I'm going to get 3 people on video, so you might want to stay till the end because we're going to bring 3 people up. Give me the alien emoji, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think it is? What is the third ingredient to this trifecta? Because I was sitting there last night, I was like, dude, like, is it really that difficult to win? You ready? Believing that you can. Wow, well, that was a science. Believing that you can. Do you believe that you can? In the deepest parts of your heart, when you look at success, when you look at an ideal life, do you believe it? Like, do you truly deep down believe that you deserve to win? That you deserve success? And the reason I mention this, guys, is because the system is designed you to have a lack of belief, for you to be a naysayer. Guys, look at the internet. Look at the internet. When somebody who's successful loses or fails, everybody cheers. Everybody celebrates. Everybody's happy when somebody loses money or they fumble a big bag. But when somebody does extremely well, most people look at that with disdain and they hate it, or they become jealous because they can't believe that they themselves can achieve that same thing. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, do that right now, okay? I dare you. I dare you. I dare you, my friend. I dare you, my friend. Can I dare you to something? Can I take you guys up on a challenge? I'm going to show you guys something that's going to make you really begin to understand how to unlock the self-belief. I want you guys to go to a mirror. Go to a mirror for me. In fact, I have a mirror in front of me, so I'm actually going to do it with you guys. Look at yourself in the mirror. Okay? Ready? Look at yourself and say this. You ready? Look at yourself in the mirror. And but you have to believe this. Even if it means lying to yourself. Okay? Look at yourself in the mirror. Truly. You see, you guys think that I'm just talking out of my ass, right? That the things that I say, they don't work, but they fucking work. Like, they work. So look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're doing a good job. You are doing a good job. Keep it up. I believe in you. You're going to consistently pursue your goals. You're going to be intentional about winning. I believe in you. I believe in you. You have to have these conversations with yourself. You have to believe that you were created for something amazing. If you were created to be average and you believe that you're just average, then you will just do average things. You understand? So end up being in a situation where you focus on believing in your potential. Validate this belief through a consistent realization of habits that will solidify any sort of positivity and will reject any sort of negativity that comes into your mental real estate about your capabilities of achieving your goal. Consistency will give you that validation. And then finally, you need to finally have that plan so that you know where you're going whenever you're shaky or you lose confidence. But you have to believe that you can get to where you want to go. You have to believe that with enough consistency of input, you will achieve it. And you have to believe that you have what it takes. No man ever ended up at the top of the mountain by accident, my friend. No man, no woman ever ended up at the top of the mountain by accident. They didn't just get dropped there. There's a process of climbing. There's a process of self-development. There's a process of growth. And there's a process of believing that you can. And that belief is something that you have to earn. So as I was sitting there and I was like, can everybody, like, because I see it on the internet, right? Like I see it on the internet. And sometimes these thoughts, they interject with my mind, right? These thoughts that people have, these comments that I see on the internet, and people say stuff like, not everybody can make 10K a month. And I sit there and I ask myself, do I believe that statement that that person just made, that not everybody can make 10K a month? Like, do I believe that statement to be true? 10,000 US dollars a month. Or what that monetary value represents, right? Like what that represents in whatever currency, but in purchasing power. And my answer remains yes. Am I just crazy? Do I like believe too much? Or is it actually possible with enough dedication and a good enough plan, enough work, enough build towards your personal development, your relationships, towards the accomplishment of your plan? You have no distractions. You have no excuses. You really can't do it. Like, does it make me a liar, a con artist, to say that I think people can make money online? I think people can create a good lifestyle that isn't bound to a low-paying 9-to-5. I would argue that with enough dedication, consistency, planning, belief, iteration, and development, you can achieve this goal. So the question is, do you believe, my friend? Do you believe? But I wanted to come up here, chop it up with you guys for about 30 minutes. As you guys know, I'm headed actually to LA this week. So I'm back on the road this week. As you guys know, Capital Club is opening up this summer. Little secret for you guys in here. My $369 price for $1 a day is only going to be open for like 2 or 3 days, and then I'm changing it. So hopefully you guys get lucky, because I'm not going to announce that until the last minute. So you guys have a heads up there. But anyways, that's besides the point. Capital Club opening in a couple weeks this summer. You guys are about to be fucking mind blown. It's going to be sick. Headed to LA, shooting some crazy content with some crazy people, guys. Crazy people. Look forward to sharing that with you, both inside of Capital Club and outside of Capital Club. And yeah, man, I really believe that you guys can crush it with a good network, a good group of people around you, intentionality towards setting goals, pursuing your goals, hitting your goals, crushing your goals, and then not worrying about the output, just really focusing on the input and believing that you can. And I said it once, I'll say it a million times. Sometimes you need others to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So I believe in you guys. I think you guys are doing great. Keep your heads up. Q3 is on the way. Q4 is on the way next. So it's time to prepare. It's time to be ahead of the game. Oh, somebody said, do we pay monthly or annually, Luke Belmar? We're doing annual, guys. Annual. Capital Club is a membership. Capital Club is a club, a digital experience, a physical experience, an entrepreneurial environment. So Capital Club is a yearly membership. A wise man once said, do long-term business with long-term people. So I'm here to do long-term business with long-term people. Hopefully you guys are as well. So without further ado, love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Consistency, intentionality towards your plan, execution in the intentionality, execution in the consistency, and finally, the belief that you can. The belief. And in that wavering of that belief that sometimes comes with doubt and insecurity, you crush and you invalidate that disbelief with your consistency and with your results. So without further ado, appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day. Capital Club coming in the next coming weeks. If you haven't signed up to the wait list, we have over 75,000 people in the wait list. It's crazy. Crazy. And I'm not letting everybody in either. So 75,000 people on the wait list. It's going to be nuts. But I'll see you guys in there. Link in bio. Check that shit. And yeah, I think there's a link there for you guys to whitelist. But yeah, that's about it. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. I was going to do Q&A, but I don't feel like it. Maybe I'm going to save it for when I'm in LA or something like that. All right. Appreciate you guys.
The reason people have a hard time making money is because they have a hard time identifying the skill sets and the qualities that they've developed that give them the ability to make money. What do I mean by this? I mean that people are often focused on what they don't have as opposed to what they do have. I don't have the connections. I don't have the network. I don't have the access. I don't have the money. I don't have. Well, if you don't have anything, you have nothing to lose, my friend, right? So if you're in a situation whereby you have nothing to lose, you have to figure out what do you have that you can't give up in perpetuity. You can't give up, and we talk about this consistently, your time, energy, and attention. Those three things belong to you. It is within your willpower. However, what you need to understand, first of all, with attention, is that social media companies, digital platforms, media has mastered the art of persuasion, has mastered the ability to mass manipulate. So they can control what? Your focus, where your attention is directed. Because where you direct your attention, well, that's where your energy and input will go. And I often say this, where attention goes, money flows, because that's where people are doing commerce. But what happens when you're in a situation whereby you're looking at the negatives instead of looking at the positives? Well, you can never grow because you're perceiving the world from a lens of need. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, instead of realizing that you live on an abundant planet and all the resources and opportunities that are available to others are also available to you if you develop the skill sets, the network, the resources, and the abilities that give you the wherewithal to capitalize on the opportunity. It's like seeing a gold mine, right? But then not having the tools to be able to excavate and extract the gold. The gold mine becomes worthless. It's like seeing a big diamond that you would have to carry with 3 or 4 individuals, and you have to carry it across a desert. Well, unless you have a truck or unless you have something to carry this precious vehicle of wealth, then it means nothing. It's the same way with your dreams, with your ambitions, with your desires. Unless you have the skill sets and the vehicles developed and tested to succeed, because you don't have a second time around in life. Like, it's you go around and that's it. So there is no do-overs, there is no second shots, there is no retries in the marketplace, there is no retries in life. So you need to make sure that the methodologies that you adopt, that the principles that you embody, that the negativity that you withdraw from your mindset, the positivity and abundance that you insert into your mindset is all designed under the premise of knowing that you don't get a second fucking shot. So if you don't get a second shot, instead of being a naysayer and looking at the things that you don't have, look at the things that you do have and ask yourself, what can I do with that which I have? To whom much is given, much is required. So if you start with little and you can prove yourself and prove that you can manage a little, if you can't manage one virtual assistant, if you can't manage yourself, how are you going to become a billionaire? If you can't manage yourself, if you can't manage your emotional regulatory state, if you can't manage how to regulate your emotions, how to regulate the way that you interact with individuals, how are you supposed to lead? You're not. So a lot of you guys are looking at what you don't have instead of realizing that you have things like your time, energy, attention, focus, your ability to show up on time, your ability to give it 110% every time you come. You don't need money for that. You don't need money to be the first one to show up. You don't need to be money to be the last one to leave. You don't need money to be the hardest working. You don't need money to be the dependable person. You don't need money to be the most giving individual. You don't need money for those things. Having money is a bullshit illusion and a cope excuse for failures of individuals that are undeveloped to say that all their problems rely on the system. When the system, guess what? It doesn't give a fuck about anybody. The system is the system. It has no individual bias towards me. If you think the system gives a fuck about you as an individual unit, they don't. They don't think about you. You're just a number attached with a little ID. You're literally cattle. So when you understand that, you begin to operate and navigate under a new mindset. And the new mindset is not what I don't have, but what do I do have? And how can I capitalize on what I have to get to my objectives? Because what I do have is my vehicle. So if my vehicle is not optimized, then my dreams, my goals, my ambitions will not be accomplished. Focus today, ladies and gentlemen, write down, what am I good at? I'm good at sales. I'm good at marketing. I show up. I'm organized. I file my taxes right. I'm a person of integrity. All these things, write them down. These are all traits, winning traits of you. And if you capitalize on these traits, you, my friend, are creating a better vehicle to accomplish your objectives. So back to the beginning. The reason most people make no money is because they don't understand how to build the vehicle for money, which is them, right? They are the vehicle for money. They are the vehicle for opportunity. The business, the people around it, right? The organization, that's all just addition to the person that is in charge. That is the data set, my friends. Walk with truth, walk with power. Focus on developing the vehicle, the vessel that can channel your dreams into actual fulfillment. And I think you are one step closer to a better life. And if you don't know how to develop these invaluable, priceless, incredible, life-changing skill sets that can give you a better vehicle to move ahead, well then Capital Club will give you the tools necessary to help you become that vehicle and that individual. That's the data set. Have a blessed day.